We're back on the Eastern Conference Playoff Preview Show. Rajon Rondo has, in fact, raised his game. He's averaging career highs in points, field goals, and assists. In fact, he's had one of the most historic seasons in Boston history from the point guard position. He set the single-season records for assists and steals in a season, passing names like Bob Cousy in the assists and Rick Fox in the steals. And Rajon Rondo, at this point, is the most important Celtic, is he not?
No question about it. I think we can start calling him the Big Four because he's the point guard riding the ship, and now you have the older statesmen trying to stay healthy so they can get to the next level. So hands down, it's the Big Four now.
And we take a look at the series schedule here, the 4-5 in the East. It's going to be better than you think, people. I know the Celtics beat them 3-0. I'm telling you, watch these games. Saturday at 8, it's Game 1 on ESPN from the TD Garden. Again from Tuesday from the TD Garden, 8 o'clock Eastern on TNT. So, gentlemen, I want to start the conversation. Dennis Scott, Chris Webber, Rick Kamla, and Webb, I'm coming to you on this. Is the Boston Celtics championship window closing, or is it closed?
Kevin Garnett has been my favorite NBA player for a long time.
Me too.
Just battling them and everything. It's over. I mean, it's turn off the lights, the party's over. They can't score anymore. Kevin's not 100%. I know he probably will say he will because he's a Warrior. But when you're scoring layups on Kevin Garnett, he's definitely not in season. Rasheed hasn't kind of done what he was supposed to do. Ray Allen probably has been playing kind of the best out of those guys right now. So I do think it's been closed because, one, you used to be able to depend on their intimidation factor, them being able to score, them being able to block shots and rebound. The last 20 games of the season, I haven't seen them do that against bad teams. So I do think that window's closed, but, you know, you never know until they play the game.
How about you?
Well, if they can get a taste of the fountain of youth, maybe they can get another year in there. But like I said earlier, spring fever, older guys like this time of year because the body starts to unthaw. Some of the wounds feel a little bit better. But the problem I have with the Celtics, I don't like their bench. I don't see P.J. Brown. I don't see James Posey. I don't see guys that can come off and do the intangible things they did when they won the championship. That's another reason I don't think they can win it.
I'm going to keep it with you here. Rasheed Wallace has been a disappointment by all accounts. I'm sure he would even say in an honest moment, yeah, I have not given the Celtics what they paid me to give to them. Do they get it now in the playoffs?
Oh, they hope so. I don't know if they do, but we know that those guys are going to let it all hang out. And one thing, when you get a little older, you take one day at a time. And Doc Rivers being the head coach, they don't practice this time of year. So it's all about getting treatment, watching film, and see if you can get enough energy night in, night out.
Knowing that you can give your all and not have to worry about practice the next day, all you can do is rest in ice, you can, you know, rejuvenate yourself. You know what I mean? So I would not be surprised if these guys won the championship because I believe in Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, Rasheed, but I just don't know if during this time with everybody else's momentum, they're not even coming into the playoffs playing great right now. And that's the biggest reason why I don't think they can keep going.
And you know, they're not dominant at home anymore. 24-17 at the TD Garden this year. There's no longer that air of invincibility when you go up to Boston to play the Celtics. And it's been an injury-plagued year for Paul Pierce. Let's show you some of the nicks that he has had this season. And Paul Pierce is one of these guys that can go on a run in the playoffs, average 30 per game, and dominate a series. You see in December, he had a right knee injury, kept him out 5 games. February, a left foot sprain. He only missed 2 games. And then again in February, a right thumb injury. And by the way, all of those injuries should have kept him out longer, but Paul Pierce is a Warrior and a tough guy, so he got back to work. To me, if Paul Pierce is not epic, the Boston Celtics may lose in round 1 to Miami. Do you agree?
I'm thinking like that too, Rick, because we know how good D-Wade can be, and now Miami, he's playing better. So Paul Pierce has to be the truth, like his nickname, and bring what he brings to the table every night, drive the basketball, and get to the free throw line, knock down his free throws.
Webb, talk to me about urgency with this team right now. We talked about the championship window. Is it closing or closed? Ray Allen is a free agent in the offseason. He may not be back in the green uniform. Talk about how that could impact their playoff run here.
Well, you know, I'm really not sure because they were talking about trading him before the All-Star break.
Right.
So, you know, I really don't think these teams, if a team is thinking about next year, then you might as well pack it up because you're only supposed to be thinking about this year. So if he wins the championship there, he'll be back. But if he doesn't, he won't. It's that simple. But this team is aging. Michael Finley's going to come out and try to step. I never will underestimate, and I'm sorry to bring this up, the heart of a champion. As you guys learned when you played Houston, the 6th seed, and still did it. And these guys, they have experience, and Rudy Tomjanovich said it, and I still believe it. Don't underestimate these guys, no matter how old they are. But I do agree with you. If Paul Pierce comes crazy, then that's their best chance. If not, it could be a long series.
Webb, I agree. I believe in the heart of these guys as well. You just wonder if Father Time is now working against them. And we talked about Ray Allen. This may be his last run with the Celtics. This could be, and I want to stress, could be Doc Rivers' last run as head coach of the Boston Celtics. The Boston Herald reported that he could leave the Celtics at season's end. Doc called it a non-story, and Doc has 3 seniors next year. 2 of his children seniors in college, 1 of his children a senior in high school, and he says that the pull towards his family gets, quote, stronger and stronger. Doc went on to say, quote, "The one I will say is I'm committed to Boston. It's either stay with the Celtics or I decide I need to stay more with the family." And we talked about Larry Brown with Charlotte, and there's some trepidation here with Doc Rivers. He may not be back next year with the Celtics.
I think that's the toughest thing in our business because of so many games. We love our game so much. We put so much into it. And, of course, we love our wives and our kids. We want to spend time with them. So it's a tough tug of war at the end of the day.
Whatever you decide, Doc, we love you. We just want you to be happy. We move on now with the Miami Heat. And check out how hot this team has been. First 69 games, not so much. It was like win 2, lose 2, win 3, lose 3. Last 13 games, Webb, they are 12-1.
Yeah, I mean, they're 12-1, and they only beat 2 teams with plus 500 records, so you got to be careful about that. But the Celtics still are limping into this playoffs. But when you have great players like a Dwayne Wade, all you have to do is stay close at the end. And being that Dwayne Wade has the ball in his hands, that Rashid, Kevin Garnett are older, he's going to be coming off the pick and roll. Just like LeBron creates a problem off the pick and roll, this guy's going to create a problem off the pick and roll, and that's where we'll see whether the old guys of the Celtics really can handle defensively, because he's one of the toughest guys to stop when he has that ball in his hands.
3D, look at the numbers that Wade put up against Boston this year. Almost 34 points per game, almost 9 assists. He averaged under 27 points per game during the regular season. Why is he getting off against Boston?
Well, the 2-guard position, Ray Allen's getting a little older like we talked about, and he has to chase him around. I think that matchup's going to be a fun matchup. But I think we all would agree Jermaine O'Neal should step up, Udonis Haslem should step up, Michael Beasley. This is your chance to prove to all the basketball world that you have game. Step your game up, and Miami Heat could have gone away with a victory.
You guys both know you make a name for yourself in the playoffs.
No
Beasley,
question.
15-6 during the regular season. It's time to go like 18-9. That's what the Heat need right now. And don't sleep on Quentin Richardson, 40% three-point shooter during the regular season. So that's it. We've broken down all 4 series in the Eastern Conference. Let's show you the brackets one more time as we head to break. Of course, the 1-8, Cleveland and Chicago. The 4-5, Boston and Miami. The 3-6, Atlanta and Milwaukee. And the 2-7, Orlando and Charlotte. We're back to wrap up this Eastern Conference playoff preview in a moment.